Hey everyone, this is Mackenzie from the Double the Donation team, here today to talk a little bit about harnessing corporate volunteer incentives. I think obviously while these volunteer grant programs, volunteer time off programs, and really just all forms of corporate volunteer initiatives can kind of boost your volunteer recruitment, help with that retention. Unfortunately, what we know is that many supporters are actually unaware of their eligibility for these super high value programs. And so, as kind of a nonprofit or school, I think it's really essential to sit in the driver's seat and proactively market those opportunities and guide your supporters on how they can get involved. And so, that's kind of what I want to dive into today. I want to look at the best ways to promote these opportunities and explore some of the strategies that we talked about in our most recent session.
First thing, and this is going to sound very basic, but this really is the easiest win here, is that I think today, in this week, you can kind of do an inventory or like a scan of your existing volunteer database. And you want to see if any of those individuals are already eligible and you're just overlooking that opportunity. In terms of how to make that possible and determine that eligibility, I do have a few tips here. If you already have collected employment information for your volunteers, you know where they work, you're probably a step ahead, right? But then you can take that, research their company's programs, especially now that you kind of have a better idea of how these work. Really, the most efficient strategy here and effective thing to do is also going to be comparing employment information you have on hand for those supporters against a database if you do have access to that. I know I touched on this briefly in the beginning, but of course, Double the Donations database contains information on volunteer incentive programs as well. So that can be a really easy way to uncover someone who's eligible and then easily connect them to their company's program. Next strategy takes it a step further. I think along with determining eligibility for existing volunteers, why not see which of your current donors might qualify for a program, right? Obviously, those individuals are already interested in your mission too, and they might be interested in a volunteer opportunity if they're asked and told that their company will provide incentives for that participation as well. And of course, I wanted to make this pretty actionable as well. So what I did is I provided kind of like a template of how you could create these proactive appeals. So it says, help us provide better outcomes to patients. We need volunteers for our upcoming event. All funds from the event go directly towards research for our patients. Get involved. Plus, did you know that your company will match your time with a financial contribution? Read more about volunteer grants here. Very basic structure here. Of course, edit this to fit with your mission, to fit with whatever volunteer opportunity you have. But I think the point being that you can use pretty simple language to get your donor or your supporters thinking about this opportunity and encourage them to take advantage of it. So wanted to make that call out there. As you do that, though, as you're making these proactive appeals, it's also going to be pretty important for you to make sure that you do have some built out resources on your website. We know that supporters are unfamiliar with these programs, kind of how they work, and what they need to do to take advantage of it. So you can kind of stay a step ahead and really be the guide, explaining that what these programs are and then helping supporters determine their own eligibility. In particular, I put together a loose example of what this could look like. Let's say that you create a page on your website where you highlight different workplace giving opportunities, and you want to highlight volunteer grants and volunteer time off as well. You could create this type of landing page with really straightforward and simple text, similar to what we have here. At the top, you can see that it says, did you know that many companies offer volunteer programs to employees? Do you work for a change maker? Then it provides really basic definitions of this is what a volunteer grant is. Once you volunteer, your company will give us a donation. This is what volunteer time off is. It's above and beyond your regular PTO, right? And then once you build this page, you can get some additional traffic and eyeballs on it by linking out to it in some of those proactive appeals we were discussing before. Whether that's on LinkedIn, through a newsletter, or something of the like. You can start linking to this page and getting your supporters on this page thinking about that opportunity. So building out this page is going to be a really great way to begin marketing those programs.